is up. After you heard that 3-minute warning, if you've got about another sentence or two, I'll probably let you continue. But
I guess what I'm here for is the current version of the ordinance. If it's passed, it's obvious the city is looking to limit and restrict the number of STRs. And a lot of folks just won't even be able to apply. So I think really the result of this ordinance from a real estate perspective is that the city is really going to be picking winners and losers. If you're lucky enough to be in an area that can have an STR, you're going to see your property skyrocket because it's going to be restricted supply and demand is going to stay high.
We researched for quite a while, for nearly 8 months, and we studied different parts of the Hill Country, Kerrville, Hunt, Mason, Lukenbach. I mean, we just studied the STR ordinances here in Fredericksburg, and we thought we were making a pretty sound investment and decision. So, we bought our dream home here, and we plan to settle down here. So, we not only saw it as an opportunity to invest in the community and the people here, but also to build community. We build community by investing in small businesses. I've gotten to know my house cleaner. She's a one-woman business, and just days before interviewing her, she buried her father and was having trouble making ends meet, so we invested in her.
We had gotten up to 3 B&Bs, and as this has been transpiring, and I'm watching the way that it's been handled, it's clear that there is an agenda at play. And my wife and I have decided that we don't want to live in a town that's going to behave in this manner. So we've already sold one of our properties. The other one should close on Friday. That'll leave us one to go. We're going to take the millions of dollars that we would have invested in this city over the next several years, and we're moving somewhere else.
My name is Jessica Lines. My husband and I run a home building company which does both new construction and remodels. Most of our work is concentrated within the city limits. Almost all of the work within the city limits is related to the STR industry. Those clients are either remodeling existing homes to offer as STRs or building new homes to offer as STRs. As part of this process, we partner with no less than 35 local trades. This can be the concrete crew, framers, electricians, HVAC, plumbing, painters, roofers, the list goes on and on. Each of these trades staff our jobs with 3 to 5 people for the work we've requested. These trades purchase all of their materials from suppliers we have here in town, Ditmar, Builders First, Sutherland's, Ace. They also frequent the local restaurants, local stores, and all of the Fredericksburg local businesses. Our one company and the work that we are doing is an example of a microeconomy revolving around the STR industry. That industry fuels so much across the town, and the result is always money being spent here in our local Fredericksburg businesses. If an ordinance is adopted that would prohibit R1 STRs, the construction and remodeling industry will come to a screeching halt.
The parking, would also like to be able to park in front of my house. If I am an owner, surely I can park in front of my house. So if I have a guest that is staying at my house, would also like them to be able to park in front of my house. And then just finally, I would like to oppose the current regulations and proposals. Thank you, sir.
We do not have to allow fear of change to paralyze us. Think about all the jobs that short-term rentals create. Housekeepers, landscapers, management companies, restaurants, repairmen, gas stations, yard service, retail sales, wineries. This is a great thing for this town. If we start to reduce and restrict the original entrepreneurial spirit Fredericksburg is known for, we run the risk of driving people away from our town and in turn losing out on all these jobs that support so many, not just in Fredericksburg, but in many surrounding communities.
I am a local. I was born and raised here. My family comes from here from long ago. I do have a B&B next door to me. Maybe that's why I don't think it's all that bad.
With this information in mind, our entire community benefits from tourism. We have incredible restaurants, great shopping, excellent grocery stores, all because of tourism-generated dollars spent in our town. But this ordinance puts the vitality of our local economy at risk. We urge this council to take time, look at the facts, and work with citizens, the Alliance, and other members of the tourism and real estate community to create a workable solution that ensures the economic health and vibrancy of our community and incorporates our good neighbor practices.
I think people want to follow the rules. I think they want to do the right thing, but every situation is different and every lot is not set up to park several cars. Of course, the obvious solution is to use the city streets for the purposes that they were intended. Most of our streets are designed to be parked on both sides of the street. If they're too narrow to park on both sides of the street, then residents and guests could be directed with signage to park on only one side of the street. This is also very common in tourist areas.
If this is passed, and I think a few folks have already mentioned this is going to create a have and have-not situation. Property value rift will start to develop between permitted and non-permitted. Lastly, one quick story. We had our STR Alliance meeting recently. We had over 100 people in attendance. It was Zoomed live, very good attendance. We had one lady ask, I'm approaching retirement age. I need to have an STR to help supplement my income. Will I be able to move forward under this new ordinance? And as a member of the STR Alliance, none of us could really give a solid response because we don't know the conditional situation of where her property is or where it resides.
I do believe that rumors begin about the evils of STRs, and they grow, and I get it. And the reason I get it is because there are a few bad apples, bad operators within our industry, and we know that. And as the STR Alliance, we're trying to manage that. We want compliance with regulations. We want them to be good neighbors, all right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that they are bad, terrible owners out there. There are some that aren't working well. And we will address that, and we will work with that, and we're asking for the support of the community to do this. But there's a small number, and I know it's a small number because out of the total number of possible residences in this city, as you've heard, 6% are STRs. 6%. We're talking about 6%.
The issue that people have brought up with the entire historic district becoming full of STRs is being exacerbated by this plan, because you will not be able to build an STR unless you're within 200 feet of another one. So that means that the STRs will all be clumped together, and then they'll start to string out. You'll have a backdoor neighbor that has an STR, and then the one next, in front of them will, and so on and so forth. So the problem's not going to be solved with this. This is not going to solve it.
My concern is with one issue, and that's the conditional use permit. So in Kerrville, when somebody wants to have a short-term rental or buy a property that they can do a short-term rental on, excuse me, when they put a property under contract, if they don't already use it as a short-term rental and they have to apply for a CUP, that's a 60 to 90-day process for them to go through P&Z and then the city council. That puts a huge question mark on the transaction for them. So what we're seeing with real estate is that it's stalling transactions. That would be my concern.
You don't know how helpful it is for both sides to hear from you so that we can get the guts to make a decision. So anyway, thank you all for being here, and we'll be back.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm going to make mine even shorter because I don't know about you guys, but we absorbed a whole lot. I want to thank all of you that made your presentations, and all of them well worth, all of you is being respectful and kind to all our speakers. I hear a lot of things about this community, and I grew up in this community. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been in this community, but I've seen it evolve, in a small town, play football, baseball on the streets, kind of activity and so forth. And, I see this community changing, and it's changing for the good and bad, depending on which side of the pocket you look at. I'm in favor of doing a balance on short-term rental versus our residential neighborhoods. I think there's been some good points. One is I'm in favor of a CUP. I think that gives us an ability to evaluate each single property and what it should be or what it can be, not to be a detriment to the neighborhood. I like the idea of folks being given notice that this is happening. I don't think this is a rush. I think this has been something that's been evolving for many, many, many years, and it's just now come to the forefront of our community, one side or the other. I don't like to slow things down to an indefinite time. My experience is always put a timeline on everything, and I don't disagree. We don't want to rush. I've had a lot to absorb tonight. I think it's going to be an opportunity for council, and I would ask them, as well as staff, that we can have another work session where we can actually have fresh minds and fresh energy to discuss things.